Hello, everybody. It's episode 189. I'm here. Nicole's here. The puppy's here. Don't
Hopefully
worry about
not
it.
in the background. He's very cute.
Let's do our sponsor shout outs real quick. If I can find it, StreamYard moves everything all the time. Vetdna.com for all of your testing needs. Use code hashtag shit happens for $5 off the crypto panel. You know you want to. So just go ahead and use it. Thank you, vetdna.com. Shane Kelley, his inane updates are continuing. He is cooking a Philly cheesesteak right now. That was his update he wanted to communicate to the world. Also, he's waiting on his first hog clutch to drop. Thank you, Shane Kelley, Small Town Xotics. Hopefully the cheesesteak was delicious. Bravo Zulu Ball Pythons, she'll be at the Midwest Reptile Show in Indianapolis on April 26th and 27th. Which I think is the ARS one, right? I think so. Check them out if you're in the area. BravoZuluPythons.com. Stoneage Pythons. Justin said that the Medford show was very good. Nice, fun spring show. And they just got their first clutch of the year. And they're hoping for a good year of Clownpied stuff and DG Clown Hypo stuff. So follow them on Instagram and Morphmarket. Andrew, Powerhouse Python, says Vancouver was good. We love good. And Hillsborough is coming up. Hillsborough is on April 12th and 13th in Oregon. And his first ball python clutch hatches in 2 weeks. So check that out. Gray Family Snakes. Look, exactly. So you can go pick up your acrylic displays there in person. Very cool. Their new triple het Axanthic Enhancer G-Stripe clutch is on Morphmarket or at a special discount on their website, grayfamilysnakes.com. And Chris at BS Reptilia. This is Morphmarket is updated. He's pairing colubrids. He's got ball pythons cooking and longicata going, and maybe T-positive Argentines and scrubs. So that would all be very cool. And you can check out cocodude.com for a extremely generous cocoa block price, including shipping to your door that could be as low as $1,800 for 210-pound blocks. And I'm like, that is a deal. So check them out, cocodude.com. All right, we did it. How are you doing? You doing good?
Good.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't know you, can you give them like the 60-second elevator pitch, please?
So I'm Nicole Slaughter. I used to be Nicole Sylvia. I have a upgraded last name now.
Mm-hmm.
And I run Dragonborn Household Serpents. And I had to focus on some primary projects. So my favorite is the MJ line Axanthic Pieds in particular, as well as paint, which I'm a little behind the ball on that one, but I'll make some good stuff with that. And Desert Ghost Hypopieds.
Have you made double hats for paint MJ yet?
I am making them now.
Those will be good.
Yeah, I have I'm behind in the male department actually. I have some females that should be ready next season. And I have one that, you know, is a visual who's ready this season, and she's being paired with the lightning pied currently.
Has there been a paint pied? Just the paint?
I don't know, actually. I know there's some hets. I've seen some hets.
Let's Google it real quick.
Does anyone know?
Apparently,
I'm sure someone's made one. There's been hets around.
Well, a quick Google did not reveal one, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right. There's a lot of secret things I've never seen.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the projects, let's talk about maybe like a more like 10,000 foot view question. It's like, how do you think, well, first, where do you live? I guess just generally.
So I live in the live free or die state of New Hampshire, which is in New England, just south of Maine. borders Canada and Vermont and Massachusetts. And it's beautiful here. And I live in a rural community. I wish it was actually smaller. It's, different. I moved here the very beginning of the pandemic, but I was planning to move here from Rhode Island.
Okay.
So I lived in Rhode Island before, but I've lived many places because my dad was in the Navy. He was a career military. So I moved around my whole life, and was in Rhode Island for a good while though. Before that, New Mexico.
Before? Did you have snakes before you moved there or after?
To Rhode Island?
New Hampshire.
Oh, New Hampshire. Yes. Yes. I had a pet ball python for a few years before I decided to breed them. So I thought he was like the most underrated pet ever. Because I've had lots of different creatures growing up, and I was like, wow, this is like better than I expected.
Did the pandemic make you want to breed like it did many people, or were you already like on that trajectory? Anyway?
So I bought him from this little pet shop that went out of business when the son took over. It was in Rhode Island, and the son sold it. Well, I went in, and I always liked snakes, and I held the little baby, and he was so freaking cute, and I couldn't stop thinking about him. And so I bought him for myself as a birthday present, and he was $200 cinnamon, which I thought was so expensive at the time, by the way. Oh my God, $200 for a snake. And then, I brought him home, and they're so beautiful. I mean, he's just a cinnamon, but he's actually really good looking cinnamon, but they were so beautiful. And I didn't expect them to be so interactive because I don't know, I've had a lot of different pets, and I've had other types that were just, they don't really want anything to do with you. And I don't know, my kids loved him, and they don't stink, and they don't make noise. And I mean, if you have one of those sea serpent racks or whatever, no one even knows you have them. He was I was like, wow, this is the most underrated pet. They eat once a week, and you still get the warm cuddlies, when you handle them, and they have a cute little face. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised these aren't more popular. I know they're a popular pet, but I really feel like they should be way more popular. And then the guy at the pet store kept talking about breeding and breeding and breeding. And I didn't have any interest in that. I thought it would be cool, but I used to work in animal rescues and stuff. So I was like, oh, it's not ethical to breed. But then I saw how easy, they are to keep and everything. And it's not the same as having 20 cats or 20 dogs or 100 cats or 100 dogs. So I started noticing all the genetics, and that's really the nerd part that's so fun, is all the genetics. And I think at the time it was ballpython.net. A friend from work, she took me to the Reptile Expo up here in New England, and her kids watched Brian Barczyk's channel, The Snake Bites. So I saw, it was so cool the first time, and apparently it's not even a big deal show, but it was amazing to me, all the varieties. And then when it really started looking at all the genes with the ball pythons, I was really interested in it, but I didn't actually decide to breed. I still thought, oh, no. But then I actually got really sick suddenly, and I was out of work for a long time. And I was sitting around my house all the time, and spent lots of hours looking at snakes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to breed snakes. Because when you're sitting home, you need something to do. So, and it's very goal oriented, and I don't know, it's fun and interesting. So I just went from there.
And that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, so I made that decision pre-pandemic, and I bought a couple snakes. But yeah, I guess you'd consider me a COVID breeder, because in 2020, that's when I, had more money, and I went crazy buying snakes. And I had no idea, of course, that's what the prices were or like any of that stuff. It was all new to me, like buying all these snakes online. I didn't, know that was a thing. And but yeah, I remember when I got my first pet snake and I was like just looking at genetics, banana was the big gene, and I remember like not liking the banana. I remember not liking pies. I remember thinking they were ugly. It's really funny now. Like your taste changes.
Yeah, it sure
I remember
does.
looking at the snakes and saying like, wow, I can't really tell the difference between some of them, but after a while, oh, hi friends. But, after a while, you develop an eye for, and I also remember like thinking that like, there's all these genes and like people would list the genes. And I remember thinking, because I'm a really science person, which is part of why I like your show, by the way. I like
Thank
science, but like I thought it was like more technical. Like I thought like there was like a test, which there is now, which is awesome. But like I thought at the time there was a test, and like people like literally knew these genetics. And when I bought my first pet snake, I was like, wow, he didn't come with a certificate, with like his genes on it and his breeder and all this stuff. Like I had such a different like idea of what to expect, I guess.
Well, what's it like now, looking back at past you? Would you tell yourself something different, or would you?
Yeah, it's like all the same advice everyone gives. Well, so first off, too, I didn't know this is still a problem. I think. Well, I don't know if it's as much of a problem because I've learned so much, but I didn't know any people who bred snakes. I didn't have any friends that did it. It's not like as big of a thing here, I don't think. So I just decided this is what I was going to do. So I like joined Patreons like after a while to try to like get all the information from people that way, because I don't know anybody. So I learned a lot through the Patreons. I joined Justin's and Ozzy's and Bob Vu's, and like because things came up all the time and I didn't know what was normal, not normal. And there was like a breeder that I was chatting with, I think through Facebook or something at one point. But like, I don't know anybody. So that would have been very helpful if I actually like knew more about it ahead of time. And same with the podcast. Like when I started getting into it, there were, I think actually 3 podcasts. There was the ball shit. And then there was Fat Man. And then there was like this one that I can't remember the name of, but it was like a couple, and I know they bred corn snakes, I think.
You're talking about
but
from the ground up?
Yeah, that might have been it. It was very like sciencey, and they talked about different species, and they had like cool episodes. But I was trying to learn every way I could at the time, but there wasn't as, I don't know. I guess I figured it out eventually, but it would have been very helpful if I had that knowledge beforehand. And the same advice of like you should start slow, because again, when I had my first pet snake, I was like, easiest pet ever. I could have like 100 of these, right? And then I got another one, and then another one, and then I got a sea serpent rack, and I was like, oh, there's 5 spaces, and like even just having like a couple sea serpent racks is nothing. It's very like not a lot of work really. You just take good care of them. But then yeah, once you get to breeding numbers and then I had to learn like, I don't know, like the feeding schedule. There's just so much. It's like a whole lifestyle. And I didn't know that you had to breed rats if you were gonna, really, I guess you don't have to breed rats, but you kind of do up here. There aren't a lot of sources. Although there is a lady up north who Audacious Balls. She's trying to sell rats now, but there really aren't like a lot of ways to get rats. Yes, I just bought everything that was beautiful, and I was trying to mix match, the genes right. And I think I made some really good choices and some not as, as good choices, but you don't know at the time. So you live and you learn.
What's hard about the ball python game in general, I think, is like something is the right choice at time X, but it sort of becomes not later, but you would not know that in advance. So like no matter what you do, you're always just sort of making
Oh,
choices.
you know what else I didn't know? I didn't know that they like grew up and became ugly. Like, like,
Oh,
you see
man.
the babies and like, I don't mean to bash clowns because clowns, of course, are wonderful and everyone loves them. But like clowns, especially, like I was like, oh my gosh, that's what they look like when they're older. And so I do try to breed for like beautiful adults because to me that's important. But yeah, that was like a thing I didn't know. You had to learn what genes that, create wobble. Some things I'm like, oh, no one told me that. No one told me this. Like, freeze the repti chip. I didn't know to freeze the repti chip or, I mean, you just learn as you go and
Sorry, I
so
sort
many
of disappeared
things.
for a second. My internet is the best.
Oh,
Sorry, but you
no
handled
problem.
it perfectly. Congrats on the loss, DGB. Hopefully you get lots of babies. They do add up fast. Sometimes I think that's like good. Sometimes I'm like, it can be bad because you don't. It's much easier to take care of a baby than an adult and like afford to feed and house it. And then once you have a lot of adults, by default you have a lot of babies, which is like multiplicative.
See, I have I probably have too many adults now. Well, I think there's different stages that I struggle with. So, there's after a couple years, it became because you're holding things back. So then it became, oh, how many racks do I need and what size, right? And so kind of I'm almost where I want to be now, where like, and then I had to decide how many can I take care of because I work a full-time job, and I have a family and other pets and a life. Hopefully a little bit of a
Right.
life.
It's how many can take care of and how many you can like realistically sell. Because there's a labor involved in selling. They don't just disappear and money appears.
Yeah.
Like a tooth fairy, that'd be fire actually if we could work on that. So, and I think those are different for different people and different phases in your life. But I think, a lot of times our eyes are bigger than our, snake stomachs or whatever. So our ability to understand how it is to sell something, to me, like that, I could take care of way more snakes than I can sell. Like the work of selling it. So let's talk about selling in New Hampshire. You have a show. What's that show like?
So the show that I vend is here in New Hampshire. It's Manchester. It's actually this coming Sunday. And apparently, my understanding is that is the biggest New England show. So there's this one group that runs this show. It's the New England Reptile Expo. And that's the first one I ever went to. Pretty much the only one I've ever been to. I really need to go to some other shows. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm missing. I guess that's the biggest one. And then they do some other shows, but I haven't been to them because like I know they go to New York, but there's different laws there. And Mass, I think, has some different laws. And no offense, but I don't really like driving to Mass. I like staying in New Hampshire, but I do have to venture out more. And then there was another show that was kind of coming around, and I did go to a couple of those, and they were, I'm not going to say what it was, but it was bad. So I stopped going because they had like actual like kids games. Like they would rent like the, I don't know, like indoor stadium, and then like they'd have the reptile show and then like kids games going on at the same time. And
like cornhole, like what?
Like I think it was basketball.
Just straight up basketball.
I think it was basketball, if I recall. Yeah. So and like I don't know, there wasn't even like a sign outside. Like I don't know, there isn't always a sign outside anyway. But I just that one I didn't want to do anymore. So I just do the one now. And it's from what I've been told, a small show. I haven't been, like I said, to any of these other bigger shows that everyone talks about. Although I need to go. And I will this year. I don't know which one though.
Have you considered going to Rexpo,
Where's that?
New York?
Rexpo?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't really want to go to New York.
Like,
They
even
have
if
a
you
lot of
don't
like
vend,
different
you can
laws.
just like see the vibes or whatever.
Rexpo. See, I haven't even heard of that one. I mean, yeah, I'm down to go. Yeah. I was thinking I might, go. I've been thinking about trying to vend Gettysburg. I'm not sure like how big that one is, but a lot of cool people go there. So, plus I need to network. Like I said, I don't really know a lot of snake breeders. I have like one friend here in New Hampshire, another Nicole.
Funny. So,
And then there's a
how
new
do you feel
new
like
breeder up
you're
north.
you're able to move your babies primarily online
Almost
through
all
Morphmarket?
online. Yeah, Morphmarket. If I didn't have Morphmarket, I'd be in a lot of trouble. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it. To be honest, I don't sell enough snakes at the show. I don't sell. I mean, if I get like a couple sales, I'm happy, and it's mostly like pet people. So I don't really bring like crazy expensive stuff. Not that I have like a ton of that to sell right now, but I don't know that people would really be able to appreciate that there. Maybe.
No, the answer is no.
But yeah, okay. Yeah, it's
yeah.
mostly like pet people, and it's not a lot of sales there. So it is almost entirely Morphmarket. I'm very dependent on Morphmarket.
So do
I know
you
they
list your pet people stuff on Morphmarket, or are you?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because I mean, I don't really make normals or anything like that, but yeah, I do list like I have some like champagne combos, and I mean they're pretty, but they're cheap and they're gonna be a pet, I'm sure. And I get a lot of like people who buy a pretty snake and it's definitely a pet because they talk to me and they're setting it up in this pretty enclosure and they send me pictures and I love my snake and its name and all that. I mean, I do sell some more expensive snakes, but yes, unfortunately, I have to compete on the internet, and that's hard.
Well, I mean, it's like I think a lot of people who don't live near a lot of shows think shows are better than they are.
Okay, well, it depends on who you talk to, because that was a discussion like in a lot of the Patreons, and you talk to other people, but I mean, at least there's some networking, so people know you.
That
No
would
one
be a good
knows
reason
me
to go to a show. Well, they know
except
you
my
now
one
because now you're
snake
on
friend.
the internet.
Yeah,
Well,
so
like, I go back and forth with like, should you do a show to network, or should you be at a show to network but not be doing the show? And then I'm like, because there are reasons not to bring live animals to a reptile show.
yeah, I know. I don't really love it, to be honest. I mean, it's a lot of work, and yeah, there's concerns. So, yeah, when you put it that way, it sounds really nice. I would love to go and just meet people, but I feel like some of my snakes, like you can't appreciate unless you see them in person. So, and especially what I have in my mind that I will be making, I have like a display in my mind that I hope to have someday. And I don't think you can truly appreciate some of these unless you see them. I mean, so I did go. I haven't been to a big show, but I have been to Canova, and I got to see a lot of cool snakes, in person. That were very fancy, and one of the snakes I saw got me into the Desert Ghost Hypopide project a few years ago. And I don't know that. I mean, Desert Ghost in general, I'm not sure. Like, I always liked the gene. I saw them like on videos and I saw pictures and I thought it was pretty. But when I got my first one, I was like, oh my God, it's like so much more beautiful, like in person. Looks like the one I have is a pastel, so it looks like plastic. Or the MJ Axanthics, like they're so beautiful, and they're not. I mean, the pied ones at least are like not. There's no brown. They're completely silver and black and gray and white and I post pictures and then I want someone to see like what they really look like. And like my male, who's like my big stud, He, someday I'd like to bring him to the shows, which again, you're right, there's a risk to that, but I just want people to see this is an adult. Like by the time I do this, hopefully he's like 6 or 7, look, this is this is how he looks. So I don't know. I mean, at the same time, I have to show people, like what I have. And then again, it's like, I either do that on the internet or I can do it in person, and I don't know. Hopefully it all just works out, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel like sometimes people in rural areas or areas with like not national level shows or something, like feel like they're missing out. I'm like, you are, but you're missing out on like the dinners, the like chit chatting, the elbow rubbing. That's what you're really missing out on. But I don't know.
Okay. Well, that
So
makes
you
me
just
feel
fly
better,
somewhere and have
Jessica.
fun.
That's
Yeah,
not
I'm
bad
telling you.
news.
But if you can sell your animals successfully on Morphmarket, if you've dialed that in, then like I wouldn't wish some of the shows I've vended on anyone. So you don't want more of those shows anyway. What you really want in your mind is a show where you can talk to people about what you like, and they're like, "Yeah, I agree. That's fucking awesome." That's what you want. But inviting new small shows or whatever isn't really what you want. So what you need to do is just go wherever they're hanging out. What do you think of that theory?
Well, that sounds better to me anyway.
Exactly.
It's a lot less work and more fun, probably.
Yeah.
But I do like to show, I do like to show my snakes. It would be fun if somebody like looked at them and went, ooh,
Right. And that can still be like a goal. It's just so like there's almost nothing more demoralizing than trying to show someone a snake that's really cool and they're like, why? So like there's the opposite of that where you're like, this is a schmorf and I like it and I did this and I bred it for 6 years and now we got it. And they're like a pet person and they have zero interest. Like, well, where's your banana? And you're like, come on, man.
Well, I like the pretty stuff. So, I mean, I got all those like quad het things going on that are, maybe aren't as impressive, but I'm in the same boat. I want them to be pretty. And I want them to be my final products. I want to be very pretty. It kind of reminds me of gardening. I had a really nice flower garden at one point in my life, and it kind of reminds me of gardening, like where the flowers bloom and like it gives me like this nice feeling to see that. The beautiful natural like beauty of something that's made by nature.
Yeah. It's God, what is it most like? I don't know, pigeon breeding or something? Where like everyone's like, who needs pigeons? Well, you're like, it's my pet and I breed it to be purple or whatever. That's what it reminds me of. Because it's not even really like dog breeding where you're breeding to a standard. No. You're just breeding for fun, for color and vibes. So it's different. All right, let's talk about FedEx. How far away do you live from your FedEx ship center?
So our closest hub is in another state, which is Massachusetts, and it's over an hour away. So I don't like going. And
do you force people to? Do you have one day a week you go, or do you let it like vary based on their need? So sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Wednesday.
Customers?
Yeah.
So I have them come to my house and pick up the package. I just pay for it.
Okay.
So
yeah,
they.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I have my work schedule set up. I work like 12-hour shifts. So I have my work schedule set up so that I have certain days off. So I usually can ship Monday or Tuesday. My husband sometimes has a day off Wednesday. So we can usually accommodate. And I don't really mind accommodating as long as the weather's fine. And I just pay the $5 for them to come into my house.
Yeah, it's cheaper than gas. I've always just been worried, like, it's a truck ride there of indeterminate time, and here it's hot during the day.
Oh, it's not hot here.
Yeah.
And I always book it for like the latest block of time. So
that would be good.
It's always been good. I mean, they're not going to get there much sooner than I would have got there. But I pick my snakes up at the hub. Fortunately, I don't buy as many snakes. That's one of the good things that has happened, during the past few years is I don't need as many snakes to add because I made most of what I wanted. So that's saves money and time, and more risk because, you got to quarantine them and, make sure everything works out. And, so yeah, that FedEx hub is a bit of a drive. And again, I have my friend Nicole, who's also the snake breeder. And actually one time I think they gave her my package. But she noticed. And, because we're both Nicole, the snake people. So yeah, they really need to be sure they card people.
If there's been a lot of rural FedEx hubs that have been closing. If yours closed and it was further away still, would you still have them pick it up if it was going to be on the truck even longer?
Oh yeah, so good point. So I had a relationship with my FedEx guy. I don't know if it's just a rural thing, but it's the same guy all the time. And he likes snakes. And we'd be like, oh, chit chat. And he pets my dog. And so I got to know him. And a couple weeks ago, or whenever I shipped last, it wasn't him. It was a different guy. So I was like, oh, hi, new FedEx guy. And he was like, oh, FedEx, this might be a permanent thing or it might not be a permanent thing. He might be my new driver. And they're like merging, I guess. FedEx has like different, like the hub is different from the drivers. Like I'm not really sure, and that they're merging. And so I think my normal guy retired early because a lot of people retired. They're letting people go or whatever, trying to have them retire. And he mentioned that hub might close. Which I'm like, oh my goodness, that would be awful. I don't even know. I think there's one up north. The other Nicole said up in Lebanon. So I don't know where I would go yet. They're going to close it, I guess, in June. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And the driver
is it
said,
official or is this a rumor?
No, they are closing it. Yeah. And the driver said, oh, a lot of people aren't happy and he doesn't think it's a change for the better, which also made me nervous because I'm like, well, shipping needs to be safe. So I hope there's no changes with that. And then, but today I had a snake picked up and I recognize a lady because she's usually the one that's working at the hub that gives me my snakes because she always talks about, oh, snake, oh, snakes. So she like giggles and stuff, but I asked her, about it and she's like, oh yeah, it's closing. But she actually said they're opening one closer. So I think
bonus.
Yeah, I hope so. So the next town over is like town. I guess it's a city. They say it's a city, but it's called Keene. That's like the next, it's a city, the city of Keene. But it's not very big. So I forget to call it a city. I think it's kind of funny. But they might open one there. I learned just today. So I hope that's the case. I have to pick up another snake in the near future. So when I go down to the Massachusetts hub, I'm going to ask some more questions and that would be wonderful if that were the case. But I don't know. I mean, I need shipping. If shipping becomes an issue, I'm going to have to go to more shows and I might not even be able to get into any of these other shows. And I don't know. I mean, I can't, even if it's like just a hobby, like you have to move stuff. So, and you don't want animals dying. So,
do you ship in the winter or are you a no ship during the winter person?
I don't ship when they say not to ship.
But you'll still ship.
I don't even know if I said that right. I go by the guidelines, whatever they say. So I usually do not ship in winter. It depends on the temperatures. I go by like the daytime peaks and lows, whatever. But usually it's like, before Thanksgiving through. It snowed yesterday.
It's 85 here today.
But it's warm today. So today was fine. And usually it's colder here than almost everywhere I ship. So I almost we don't use a lot of heat packs. I actually use a lot more of the cryo packs. So they're like warm here, and then they like, you know, cool down as they get to where they're going. But today I used the heat pack because her location was, you know, around the same temperature. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's no shipping that time. So, I mean, I don't do it.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you know who this is. A corn snake breeder who retired. His name was Sean Nealand. He used to live 2.5 hours away from his ship center and did not pay for pickup because he lived in like crazy area, Utah or something. So it'd be like really hot and really cold. And he was just like, I only ship Wednesdays forever.
Yeah. I mean,
And
if that's
so
what you have to do, that's
right.
That's what you have to do. So,
and I've tried to ship to people like in, like they live in a reservation. So like FedEx doesn't have hubs near them, but the reservation's really big. And so like, I'm like, your nearest hub is 4 hours away.
wow.
And they're like, can you ship it to my door? I'm like, it's 117 where you live. It's not going to happen. So like, there's actually like if you're a rural ball python breeder, like sort of collecting your sales into one point in time becomes more important. So either you have a friend who lives near something and you can like consign your inventory to them and they can ship it because they live in a city, or you do shows and you just drive and do shows. And I think people don't think about that because they're just like, yeah, I'll just sell it online. And I'm like, will you? Will you sell it online? I don't know. So
yeah.
So remember UPS might be added to sort of our normal snake shipping world, I was like, yes, because that could maybe just serve everybody a little bit better in addition to FedEx, because there could be more
I'm not very
locations.
familiar with them. You think they'd be better?
I don't know if better, but like if somebody doesn't have to drive 4 hours to pick up their snake, that's better. Like if they just happen to have UPS store near them, isn't that better?
Does it have to be a special UPS store? Like the FedEx has to be like the hub? Because there's
I
FedEx
think so.
stores near us, closer, but they don't take the live animals. Has to be like a specific kind. So I'm not sure like what UPS.
Right.
I don't know where I would go
either.
for UPS.
It'd be whatever ones like can receive perishable.
Hopefully it would be closer. It's just that I know FedEx has a track record already and they're already like familiar with live animals. UPS doesn't do like, did they ever do live animals? Is that new for them?
Well, they did more, and then they did less unless you were a legacy account. And now like,
okay.
Jason brought it up. Ship Your Reptiles is letting you do through UPS now, but the other ones could also do it. Because UPS is gunning for more business. Let's put it that way. But I'm like, maybe we should be checking both because somebody who lives somewhere really far away could have a UPS store that they can pick up from.
Yeah, you know? and I think it's good I do think it's good for every business to have a little competition. I think it keeps things healthy, you know?
Wow. What if no one could ship any reptiles, amphibians, spiders?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. Doing this, like there could always be like some horrible laws that get passed where you can't even reproduce them, you know, or who knows. I don't know. I mean, I'll survive if I can't keep doing this. It's I enjoy it. I have a specific goals in mind that I want to achieve before I think about like, oh, maybe I should tone it, you know, not do it. I mean, I don't even produce a lot, to be honest. So it's not like you know, going crazy. I could probably do this for a very long time, but you do have to move the snakes because if you're holding things back, you got to move snakes.
Do you like to move them like before winter sets, or do you have any sort of bias?
No, so so again, something you learn over time is I learned like there's a pattern, you know, like, oh, these like tax return sales. And then everyone's hatching, you know, and then all the cool stuff comes out and then the shows and And then like I noticed every year how people were really pushing for sales before the winter. I have not done that. Like I prefer to sell before winter, but I haven't. If anything, I probably need to work on getting the snakes out sooner. I know like people who are good at like getting the babies established enough that they can go to their new home and then moving them like are like smart, I guess. I am not good at that, unfortunately. So I mean, my gosh, it takes me so long just to list them sometimes. And but again, I don't make a lot. And I have a job, you know, and other things going on. But I think as time goes on, this becomes more of a normal part of my life. You know, I can like slowly improve on things like that. And that's something I need to improve on. I need to, or even just deciding what to sell. With shed testing, like I'm like, I have some to shed test and then I may or may not keep that one. And, I haven't done it yet. So, but I mean, I think the most clutches I had were 14 maybe. And, I might have like 10, I think this year. And I probably should, I don't know, like I know things are kind of stagnant, you know? So I'm not like pushing too hard, but like I probably should push a little harder than I do. I actually get more like nervous because I'm one of those people that have like ball python nightmares, like breeder nightmares. So I've had nightmares where like there's snakes everywhere and I'm like grabbing them and like trying to find places to put them. And like, I don't like want that to be reality where I have like no space and I can't feed them and stuff like that. So I'm probably a little too timid with, you know, sales or producing more. But you look at my adult rack and like you said, people breed the adults. I have a lot of adults that
Is it me? Oh my gosh. Hello? God, what is wrong with the internet? Chat, if you could hear me, that'd be cool. Okay, thank God. All right, we're back.
Uh-oh. I touched my screen. Now I can't see.
That was frightening. Thank you, Emma. Oh, podcast is canceled. No, it's not. Okay. We're just come back. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's talk about that when she comes back. Is it based on trees? We're
Sorry,
back.
I was trying to help. So I shut myself off. I keep myself on.
So do you think I used to be very pro holdback? I mean, look at the title. And now I think sometimes I'm like a hoarder and I'm wrong. Because I'm like, well, you know, that project moved on so fast. You didn't really need to hold them and you would have been better sort of diversifying some of the money from the sale of those holdbacks into other things sooner. Because otherwise you have a very like monotonous collection sort of genetics wise.
Well, I'm just doing ball pythons. I gotta
I'm talking about in ball pythons. Like I'd be like, I'm holding back every
I don't feel that way personally. Okay. I actually think I need to be very focused on my specific idea that I have. And when I can't be a big breeder. I'm not going to be a big breeder. Like I said, one of the things I learned is this is the maximum amount I want to be comfortable with my life, at least the way it is now. So I can only have this many, I decided. And so I have specific projects. I make a lot of, but high risk. So I'm not breeding, like I made a lot of like quad hets and I like quad het pairings. And but the things that I'm sticking with, I feel very good about and make me happy. And I feel like there's some breeders that I really like what they did, because they really stuck to a very specific thing and they made it really nice. Like Chris Hernan, I mean, I don't know how long that took him, but I mean, he has like a very specific thing, and I wouldn't say it's crazy diverse, but he has this very specific thing. And honestly, like I'm not going to, I mean, I'll never be like a Justin, and I'm not going to stick out in that way. So I could stick out if I'm, stick to my guns and I'm very specific. And if somebody wants a specific thing, then maybe they'll think of me. And
well, what do you think is the thing you want people to think of when they think of you?
Sorry, my dog was barking.
What do you
My
want
husband
people to
came
think
home.
of when they think of Nicole?
Well, I mean, the MJ Axanthics, and hopefully paint once I get into that a little more. And just that I have like really good quality snakes that age well. Like I like the beautiful snakes. I want to make snakes that a breeder thinks are impressive, as well as someone who doesn't know anything about genetics. Because I don't know.
Do you
It
think
brings me
pet people
pleasure.
are going to like gray snakes as much as...
Yes.
They don't like gray corn snakes as much as they like pink
Oh,
corn
I'm
snakes.
surprised.
Did you know
I'm
that?
surprised. So the lightning pied, people who normally don't like snakes at all, don't like looking at them, have complimented the lightning pieds, and they've actually said, "Oh wow, I don't normally like snakes, but I like those ones." And then at the shows I have gone to, where I mean, I have a small display, but I have a nice display. Like I make sure I spread them out so there's a lot of different colors and stuff. So it's a little eye catching, and I have one of those like green ARS setups, which I like. I like the green; it kind of pops. And I have like sparkly curtains and stuff. But I had just a regular MJ Axanthic in there, and like everyone was complimenting that one because he looked like he was like in some like 50s movie. Like there were these colorful snakes, and then there was him who looked like he was in some black and white TV screen. So I think people like them. And when I went to that little pet store that I told you about, I first started looking at the snakes. There was an Axanthic there, and it was a bigger one. And it was actually like my favorite. I thought about buying it many, many times, but I didn't, which is probably a good thing because I didn't even know what kind it was. So, yeah, no. And then I do a lot of pieds. I mean, and they're going to age nice and they're going to be pretty, and people like pieds. So, I mean,
have you noticed like the
bananas.
pied whatever disposition changing a lot, or no? Because you're online.
What do you mean? The market?
Yeah, the people.
Well, it's not. I don't know.
They don't hate pieds,
like
but I can. A banana outsells a pied right now, in my opinion, in a show currently.
Yeah, I like banana stuff too. I have
People just
a
like
whole...
it's orange, and they'll just buy it. Just anybody.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I like banana combos a lot. I have a whole next season they'll all be ready, but I have a whole group for like the bonfire and campfire stuff. All those combos.
Group. I thought you were sticking to like 10 to 15 clutches.
Well, there's I think, what do I have? 3 or 4 females and 1 male. Yeah, that's my group.
Listen, girlfriend, I don't know how to do nothing because I have
It's a
lot
little
of
group
capacity, and I'm like, what? Because I did 27 clutches, and that was fine. But then I'm like, I have hundreds of other babies from other species, so like maybe that's my limit. And then I'm like, oh, they look blue, so like that's different. Like if you take a little baby, like I don't know, anery corn snake versus snow, they'll almost always pick the snow. Promise. in corn snakes, but maybe that doesn't matter.
I like the blue.
Yeah. What do you think about MJ's relationship with the other forms of Axanthic in the hobby currently?
All of them,
it
or
was and is like a prestigious one still. But do you think it?
So they cost more. So yeah, we know they're they're the same as the GCR, and Justin had them as well, and so I think it's actually good because there's more people like who already have a lot of the ingredients. So I know that there's like a lot going on because there's different lines, but the quality that I have is good, and I've heard people say that they've never seen a bad MJ. So I mean, I don't know. I'm really into quality. So I mean, that's why I bought the ones I bought. I was new, and I didn't really like put tons of thought into which line I wanted. I just bought what was the most beautiful one. I bought the most beautiful ones I saw, and that's what I ended up with. And I definitely don't regret it. I mean, if you see them in person, they're so beautiful. So, and the age, I mean, I like them better as adults than as hatchlings. They're so, I mean, out of all the things I've hatched, those ones gave me the most joy. And I don't know, I probably get the most compliments on those as well. So I don't think it's an issue. I think there are other people working with it. And this again is probably when shows are important because you can like see something in person. And I know there's really good quality other Axanthics and stuff too, which is fine. But if you're getting into it and you want Axanthic, you're gonna have to choose. But maybe you'll be like me and just pick the most beautiful one.
Yeah, it's a little bit like fraught for no reason, because it's like you can just do whatever you want, it's fine. But then it actually is like fairly. It leads you down a certain sort of road. Like if you wanted to go buy an MJ Axanthic, most things right this second, it's going to have pied in it. And if you're like, I don't want pied, you're going to be paying for pied but not wanting it. And so like it sort of changes the destiny of what you're doing. So it's still relevant, even though it really doesn't matter. You're having fun breeding snakes in a box. What do you think about like what was it, the VPI Axanthic Desert Ghost Hypo pied? Like the spots are basically like not there anymore. Is that good? Isn't like the contrast good? What do you think about that?
So I'm adding hypo and Desert Ghost to mine. And I like the looks. I mean, I guess I need to see more other adult Axanthics and other collections. I mean, I've seen pictures, and I just feel like the MJ, at least the ones I have, they age a certain way. They age like it's almost like a kind of granity thing, and then the pies are so beautiful. It's like going to be hard to make them even better. The way that they age, is why I'm doing the paint, honestly, because I had to pick 2 projects, and I got sold on the paint, and it kind of has that granity look. And then I just got like a furrow, so I'm gonna try to enhance that more. So I think it has like a different look. I'm not even sure if I'm answering your question.
Yeah, like Justin made like the triple visual, maybe with OD in it, and each saddle was basically disappeared into nothing. And then like I think he even said something like maybe we should like
I don't think that was Desert Ghost and a hypo. I think it was like a super this, super that, and it either had hypo or Desert Ghost in it. Yeah, I'm not like into the whole disappearing look. I know you're talking about. I saw that video. But a lot of people like that snake. In the comments, a lot of people, they said that was their favorite one. It's not my favorite, but I like contrast. And I
think they're high. Like,
But people like different things, and that's one I would probably sell and be like, okay, yeah, you enjoy that, contrasty or fadey one.
it's just a dirty bill. I don't know what to tell people about it, but it's my genetically powerful. I just don't. There's just a lot of built-in limitations to pied, and so like asking it to be less contrasty is sort of dangerous to me.
Yeah, although I'm curious how that one will age, because again, they age. I mean, as all black pythons do, I guess they age, pretty dramatically. So I wonder what that one's going to look like when it's an adult.
Is there a picture?
Will it be more fadey?
Hypo.
Will it be more silvery? Like,
What was it? Super OD? Was it hypo or not?
I don't think it had hypo or DG, if I recall. I think it was like super fire, no, it couldn't be super fire. Super OD. I don't remember. It was like a super. Does anyone remember? I don't see the chat, so.
You can show the chat.
I just push
you
chat
just
and I
gotta
can
push
see
the
it.
button.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna accidentally X myself out.
Present. Don't X yourself out.
Oh,
Maybe I was like mixing things up, like between Justin's or whatever. But
it was Justin.
right.
Oh, is that the same one?
But Nicole made a different one with Black Axanthic that was all 4.
Yeah, she's
fine.
into the Nicole up in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have very similar tastes, her and I, and same name again, another Nicole. But yeah, she likes the DG hypopide stuff too. No, I know what you're talking about. That was an MJ and that was Justin. They were a bunch of like supers.
Super duper. I don't know why we're doing this right now. To me, sometimes pied, I'm just like, oh, it's so limiting.
Yeah,
Maybe
so that's another thing I learned too, just because I did get more into pied, because I was like, oh wow, clown, there's too many people in clown, and I'm kind of glad I did, because where I'm at. But yeah, it's hard to ID stuff, but now we have genetic testing. But IDing things can be difficult. It's kind of hard to predict, and you're right, it is fairly limited. Like I really want to add blackhead to it.
All right, I have a spicy question ready.
Sure.
If something is so subtle in the visual form of the snake, and even though it's incomplete dominant, and you find it out from genetic testing, should that animal be materially more expensive? Even if it is genetically more powerful, but it doesn't matter if it's got one orange dot that's like double
Right,
orange,
I know what you mean.
It's not a super OD versus OD, and maybe there should be, but sometimes there's like the price difference will be $5,000 versus $1,000.
Right, especially with pieds. I know what you mean, because I was eyeballing some, like, I think they were Posset MJ pieds that Justin was selling, or on Canova's site, and they had like Hurricane and like all these like other genes in them, and so I guess yes, you should charge for. I mean, unless it's like a gene that. Yes, I think you should charge, because again, even though it is in pied, you don't have to make pied, so you can make, a
But
Hurricane that is not a pied down the line.
Negative sometimes. Like sometimes I do not even want it to be het pied, so I wouldn't even use it to make hets for something else with.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was a negative to me to be het pied. Like I just need the mom to make something, So, you see where I'm going? Like I don't want to try pied.
I don't. I mean, well, I don't mind het pied. Sometimes het pied is nice, because like with champagne, het pieds are really nice.
Well, there's lots of. I think het pied is often just better than pied. Period. Like in Bell Complex, in like the Black Pastel Inchy Complex, a lot of those look more interesting when they're het pied. However, I don't accidentally want to introduce pied into something I don't want pied in. So I wouldn't buy a female Like right now, I can't even get into MJ Axanthic because I don't want secret het pied in anything.
Right.
Or pos het pied. I don't even want it. Cut it out, which is crazy, right? So to me, MJ is like the most limiting of them. Although every once in a while you'll see like a male visual 50% het pied. You know, how do I solve my
there'll
problem?
be more. There's going to be more that don't have pied.
Good.
But I mean, they are at least so far. Some of my favorite. I mean, they look so good in pied. It's I mean, I have one that's not a pied. She is het. She's Russo MJ. And she's still beautiful, but she doesn't. I mean,
She doesn't
I
slap
think
the
the
same.
pied are more beautiful. Yeah.
I just think.
But yes, they can't all be pied, and I also want to see them like in GHI especially, and I need a male. I'm gonna have to pick up a male from someone at some point, a new male. So I would like Calico would look really good, and GHI and Blackhead.
But still in pied.
No. I'm looking for one that is not pied.
Yeah.
I mean, a het is fine. I like hets.
I saw you auctioned a pos het monsoon. Are you getting out of monsoon, or you keep?
Yeah, I was going to get into monsoon. I got again, like in the past, there was like a lot of I mean, there was like not as many options. So like I loved monsoon.
But we're moving on.
Squeaking.
Keep going.
I loved monsoon, but like you couldn't even like, again, I guess you had to know somebody. But I couldn't even get like a het at the time. So I did get like a proven breeder het male, and then I bred him, and I was gonna do the monsoon. And this was before there was a actually another, I mean, there's kind of a genetic test for it.
Right.
But like I just don't have the space, you know. So I decided this is the size collection I'm gonna have, and I don't have the space for pos het monsoons, and I just gotta pick what you know, I have to choose. So yes, I am getting out of the monsoon. I have like a little bit of stuff left from that male.
Yeah, it is hard to pick in the end, but I feel like you know what you want now, so it's good.
Yeah, I think that takes. I think, you know, if you're getting into it, like you think you know what you want sometimes, but then like when you're hatching them and then raising them, you know, then you figure out what you really like, I think. So I chose what I really like and hope I can make like the best with what I have.
Do you think more people should work with MJ, or do you think part of sort of why it's sort of been stable-ish is because it hasn't been worked with that much? Like, where do you draw the line on that one? Because a lot of times you're like, well, I want everybody to do it, but then
I want more people to work with it. I think that's great. But I wonder, because so I know it's the quality is so good, like I said, and sometimes I wonder, is it because of the line, the specific line, or because and it's like you said, really refined now. Still, it hasn't been like kind of messed with a ton. Because you see really bad examples, I hate to say, of VPI and TSK.
Well,
the
black
ones that are worked with a lot.
aren't very black most of the time. The more you outcross them, also. So like,
yeah, you have to be careful. So yeah, I wonder, like, and I guess time will tell. Like, is the great quality because it hasn't been messed with a ton and it's like very refined, or is it really that this line is different? I mean, they are different. They're genetically different. So, you know.
Does an adult MJ Desert Ghost turn ever so slightly yellow, like all the other ones?
Desert Ghost?
Yeah, like an MJ Desert Ghost.
I don't know if there are any
Oh,
MJ
we don't know
Desert
yet.
Ghosts.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I mean, but the regular one does not turn yellow.
Oh yeah, it does. Every single one I've seen is like dirty sock looking.
An MJ's turn yellow?
Oh no, not MJ's. I just mean all the other lines plus Desert Ghosts are slightly yellow tinted as adults.
Oh, really? I haven't
Yeah.
seen them. Huh, interesting. Well, why would that happen?
Because Axanthic isn't perfect. So like
That's odd to me that it would add yellow. I've seen I think it's VPI pieds that have like a weird like yellow like rim.
well, it's not adding yellow. Like, have you ever noticed Het Axanthics look 20% Axanthic? Like they have
Yeah,
a
they're,
green
like,
tone
lighter.
or whatever, you know. And so you can almost pick a Het Axanthic out if you have
Mhm.
6 siblings. So the Axanthics aren't actually turning it off all the way like albino turns off melanin. They're just turning it down. So each one is maybe turning it down 95% or 82%. So that's why, like, when you pull other stuff away, melanin's gone. Almost all of them are a little bit yellow underneath. So they produce some still. And the MJ seems to produce the least, but I wonder if you pulled everything away, how yellow is what's left. Because
Don't
DJ
know. I
turns
guess
yellow
we
back
will
up again.
see. I guess we'll see. I don't know that there are any yet.
I thought there were, but that doesn't mean anything.
There might be.
Rich thinks they have not. Hopefully it's because they seem the most not yellow to begin with. But DJ
Yeah, I don't
amps up
see that
yellow.
happening. But I don't know. So we'll find out. I'm definitely adding DG to it. And hypo. Not necessarily at the same time, but we'll see.
All right, very good.
My money's on no, but we'll see.
Yeah, like there's a gene in boas. There's like, I don't know, 15 aneries. It's called anery in boas, right? And one of them is the one that is the most gray, but it is not still perfectly gray. Like if you make a snow version of that one, little bit of yellow. It's just less yellow than all the other ones. And so it looked good with melanin, but when you pull the rest away, it's still a little bit of yellow, which is fine. I don't know. You could selectively breed that down as well, but
yeah, well, the goal is to be very careful with the direction, that you're going with it, and try to keep it nice and silver and clean and beautiful.
All right, very good. What do we miss? Is there anything else about MJ that we need to talk about? We need to tell the people of the world.
There's a handful of great people working with it, and I, here and there, I hear more and more people working with it. I think it's a great thing personally, and I hope it continues.
Do people still need to import them, or are there enough in the States that they should be happy with whatever they can find in the States? What do you think?
I mean, even in Canada, I mean, I don't go there, but if you look on Morphmarket, there aren't like a ton. But there will be more. I mean, people are working with them now. So, and I feel like, I mean, Mark's had them for so long. Marcus Jane. And I've seen videos where he's made, non-pieds. Like he had like a really beautiful like calico something on a video, and I think Kevin McCurley was in this video, and they went and visited his, him up in Canada, and he had some nice MJs out. So I know he's made all these amazing things with it, but you don't really see it. So it's hard to say what's been made, but there's definitely more and more people working with it now.
Do you want to subtly encourage him to promote it more?
Yes, he should. I guess he's starting his own his own podcast, or he's going to do something, which is pretty exciting because he seems like a really cool guy. I've always loved listening to his interviews.
Would you want to fly to CRBE and like,
Yes,
you know,
I would.
Bro Bevel's there? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in like a weird place with shows, so I don't mean to like poo-poo, but I'm always like, I don't know. If you're like, I went away from mostly online sales when like stuff slowed down real bad, sort of at the end of 22 and 23, and it kept things afloat, but it's hard in a different way. So like, I don't know. All right, last topic, kind of auctions. Ooh, what do you think about Morphmarket auctions specifically, since they're all the rage these days?
Man, so I have mixed feelings about them. I have mixed feelings about them because sometimes I watch them. Like I don't constantly watch them, and you kind of have to if you're like trying to pick all the great deals out. I mean, I watch sometimes really nice snakes go for what I think they are worth so much more than what they're going for, and it makes me feel a little sad inside. But you can get things moving. So again, like, I mean, I use it because I'm like, well, this guy's been here for a while, and you know, someone wants him, and you know, and I'm happy to make a sale, and it, you know, I'm trying not to. I'm luckily at a place where I'm covering my expenses, and I actually made my first little teeny profit last year. Although it doesn't compare to the amount I put into it. I'm just saying, like, year to year.
Right.
It was just losing money. And then I made a little profit. So I am able to, I think they're good so that people, if they, you know, can kind of keep things afloat, and they're keeping things moving, because even if you have no interest in a business at all, and you're just doing this as a hobby, like I said, you have to move them because you're going to hold something back, a few things back, hopefully, and they need to move, and people get addicted to ball pythons, you know, so it's not a bad thing if someone buys one. I mean, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to all of us, right? We bought like one, and we're like, oh, it's so cute and so wonderful and
what if
beautiful.
somebody
Look at that
like
color.
MJ Axanthics and just they all went for $200, and then like the Emperor has no clothes moment where you're like, oh, the people will only pay $200 in this format, and I know people have argued like it doesn't count. I'm like, it does count. So like there's no real barrier to somebody murking something the whole way. So then I'm like, I don't know. There's some stuff that definitely should be auctioned and it's fine, but some stuff it's not good.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
bueno.
I know.
But you're all online, so you might need an auction to like solicit attention from a pet buyer or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I need to move snakes, and some people like who are rural, like they really need, they might need an auction. So I don't think it's entirely bad, but it does hurt when you see something that's really nice that goes for what you think is peanuts. But again, sometimes I get excited because I see something like, I'm like, ooh, you know, because it's a good time to buy too. So it makes you feel a little like, oh, maybe I should get something, but I don't know. It has its good and bad moments.
Yeah, I think it's mixed. I don't know. I wish people would use it more strategically, like in any way. And I think some people are just like, if you're going to put something nice on auction, put it nice on auction with the intention of it promoting the rest of the clutch. Like, if you missed out here on this deal, the rest of the clutch is available. You know, like, so it's like promoting the idea of that combo or whatever better, or that species if you're doing different species, instead of just being like, I'm going to dump a bunch of the exact same thing on there one after the other until they're all $100. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I honestly don't know how, like, what the long-term effect of auctions are, or, you know, if it does more good or more harm. but I think it does a little both.
Yeah, I think we needed liquidity, after a while, like in the end of 23, like in terms of animals needed to go somewhere else and those people needed some money and that we needed liquidity back in the system. And we've gotten that. So I don't know if we need auctions per se, but there are some people who still have like 2022 listings of babies that aren't updated and are still sitting. And we don't know if those animals are still for sale or what. And so then like, is that do those listings need to be like, and he does delete things occasionally, but do those people need to be reminded of like the current market price? Yeah, probably. But then, the other stuff falls apart on the way there.
Maybe auctions should be like limited or something too. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a way to manage it in the future. I don't mean, not that I'm a big fan of like, lots of rules or anything, but
well, they're kind of limited because you're supposed to get a certain amount per tier.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like a lot. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
God, I don't know. I get exhausted sort of like mentally going around this topic, like a dog chewing on its leg as it tries to get out of a trap. But I think more people need to, on average, wholesale or find pet homes for more of the things that need to be that, instead of putting them on Morphmarket and then like revealing that they're actually $20 all along, like a Scooby-Doo villain. Because that's like the real retail, like what happens on auction. And I know people argue about this all the time, but like I think auctions are a sort of percent of what their retail price is. That is kind of more real than like the fake retail prices where we'll negotiate in the DMs. But what I would really take is $2,000, but on paper it's $5,000. And then on auction I get $500. Like there's a relationship there that you can extrapolate if you choose to pay attention.
That's another thing I didn't really understand when I was new because I didn't know anybody. It's that like sometimes prices aren't really, what people are paying, and where that if you know a certain person, you can get a certain thing.
First start, they're like, oh yeah. I mean, some people are like, no,
I think I've experimented with the auction and like it encourages like a no reserve. And then like I would sell something and be like, oh my gosh, that's way too low. And then I'd feel terrible. So last time I did it, I actually put the reserve in, and that was better. I felt better about it. But
hit your reserve at least?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So that was good. But one was quite a bit more than the reserve. And then you have to time it. Like I think there's maybe we need to like learn how to do the auctions better, or I'm just speaking for myself. Cause again, like I need to like time it too. Cause the last one I didn't time it right. Cause I wanted to time it so that I could ship it out today if they wanted it. Cause I knew the weather would be good here at least. And, but it didn't end until like 2 a.m. my time. And I'm like, dang it. Cause I hate math. So I didn't like do the math right. Like I want it to end like, 8 o'clock maybe, or before someone's going to bed.
And kind of on a week, it should end on a weekday, but maybe start on a weekend so that they know
so it's like what day should you start at what time? Like you like maybe like I think I need to plan that out better. And then like you said, like I should definitely ask for a reserve because I sometimes regret if I don't do it, and what should that be and what's fair, and then the shipping price, I put that in there. So I think maybe there's like a better way we can do it. Like you said, it's just how do you get everyone on the same page too? I don't know.
At what point will auctions like exacerbate the sort of sluggishness of the market?
I don't know.
fuck?
Honestly,
Okay.
I watch your podcast to listen and learn about that stuff. You should
Yeah.
know.
Listen, I've been looking at some graphs and they ain't pretty. But
I like
But-
graphs, but I don't want to see those graphs probably.
yeah, but like we're selling off on average per day or per like day right now on ball python wise 200 ball pythons. They go somewhere else. They get sold. They get sold at a show and the market sold online. That's a lot of fucking ball pythons. So that's good, right? People want ball pythons. It's just, can we preserve any sort of like value in certain morphs while we sort of continue to like encourage new people to enjoy them? Because I don't know if we can if people are trained to wait for an auction for the kind of animal that they want instead of trained to go evaluate all of the available inventory and be like, this person's nice, the snake is nice. And I have been selling snakes not on auction, by the way, this spring, so that's still here. But I'm very auction sensitive, so my pricing I feel is auction sensitive. I watch like a sold auction and I basically double price or so. So that's how I'm pricing right this second, not on like what's available on the market. Some of these snakes have been available since 2022, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's hard to watch the auctions. Like, I mean, you like literally have to follow that snake and then know the hour and the minutes that it's, you know, that
Can I give you a
auction's gonna
pro tip?
end. And, huh?
Can I give you a pro tip?
Sure.
If you just leave the auction tab up, like on your computer, like this, and you just go away, and they end, you can delete it when they end.
Oh, it just
the
leaves it?
price doesn't disappear until you like click away and refresh. So if you're like,
Oh, that's
oh, what's happening at the end here?
okay.
Like, see, this one ended recently, but if I leave this one up for 30 minutes, and it'll just stay whatever the final bid is.
All right. So that's a good way to keep track of things.
Until they delete that hack. I know what things ended on.
But still, though, you have to be on and you have to have the computer up and you have to like
Chronically
know
online.
if you're watching a
judging
specific
me is
thing.
what you're doing.
I mean, I probably missed a lot of snakes that I would have maybe bought had I known they were even auctioned. I just, I don't have the time or energy to
Right. I think that's why
constantly look
people
at the
buy like
auctions.
regular listings still, because they're like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna wait around for a $300 snake. I could get it for $185 if I just wait every 5 minutes. Like, they don't have time for that. It's stupid. But I think we're losing out on a lot of like information about people's interests and self-promotion by not just making them regular listings that are competitively priced. Because in that 3 days, someone can't interact with Dragonborn, Household Serpents, and like see your branding and see who you are and go to your Instagram and check it out. Because the animal that would have been the first one they buy, some rando buys it off of the auction instead of like a curated human choosing you for their pet as they think about it. What about that theory? What about like the customer acquisition part of having a listing that's like coherent instead of time sensitive? I don't know.
Well, I try to make those listings, and I mean, I have to say, I mean, I don't have a lot for sale now. I feel like I did better last year. Like did I sell anything this year? Like, cause we just got our, it's tax season. I don't even know if I sold anything. Well, I mean, I couldn't ship anyway, but, I also don't have like a lot listed, and I'm curious like what I know there's like an algorithm too. Like I think the more you have posted, the more likely someone will see your ad. I mean, I detail my ad. I put lots of photos in there.
So I don't
all
think there's like you
angles.
get more seen. I just think if you have more ads, there's more chance they click through your store and then click through your sub listings.
I
'Cause
think
there's
there's
no
something with
algorithm.
the algorithm. I mean, am I wrong? I might be
Darian said it
wrong.
was just chronological. So like as they refresh based on your membership tier. But I do think things make people stop more, make people click in and then click into your store to see if they want to add stuff to your box. So just having more listings begets more clicks to all the other listings. What do you think of that?
Yes. And, you know, when I do sell on auction, I did start like, you know, I'll always like, oh, do you want to add something? Like, I guess you have to like kind of upsell, hopefully from there. Haven't had a lot of success with that yet, but.
No. Yeah, that was what was, I don't know, not nice about the auctions that I have done. It's like there's this sort of expectation that it's like a quasi wholesale lot. Sometimes, not all the time, but like people are much more likely to like put 3 in a box because they're sort of peer pressured into it. And so that's good for the seller in that case. So for me, I don't know, right now I'm on like team, like maybe auctions should be tiny lots, like 2 snakes or 3, like a trio. And then you at least have the benefit of knowing you only had to auction 1 time to yeah, you know, and they can be related, like breedable, like as a group or not. I don't know, but I'm more sort of leaning towards that. So then you like replace the value lost with time savings. What do you think of that?
I mean, I thought of that too. Yeah. Cause I have a couple like little groups. I keep thinking I'm going to make this like little group and like list it for sale and maybe auction it, like you said. But when I see, like multiple snakes in the auctions, I don't know. I feel like, wow, it's worth so much more than that. But you're right. You're also, you're at least saving some time, some rodents. You're getting a few more snakes out to someone. There is that benefit, and then you're doing it less.
Like in one shot, one $5 pickup from FedEx, 1 box. You know, if they're little enough, you can fit maybe 4 in a 12 by 9 by 6, 3 if they're a little bigger, baby ball pythons. So I would take so much less money if I could do 4 in one shot. Think about that in your brain. You're like, oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think I might try that in the near future. I've been thinking about that too. And sometimes I see like groups. I mean, sometimes there's groups of breeder females, and I'm like, my goodness, like they should be so much more than that. But someone's getting rid of some breeder females, and they're probably like me. They have like a bunch of adults, and they have a bunch of holdbacks, and they're like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move these guys over, and it's worth it to you. You know, if you have better holdbacks, and then those breeders are holding you back. So
yeah, and then gosh, so like part of the natural gentling of the market or whatever will happen once people have fully swapped enough. Like the people who are getting out have gotten out, and then those people who need to swap and are swapping into like a sort of down market to buy like starter breeders. If once those people are all done, the baby prices will be better, look better, because there won't be like a constant surge of 100 normal adult female clowns dribbling onto the auction and going for $150. Like that puts pressure on like the clown market in a way that it wouldn't have been there if people weren't just always getting cheap clowns, cheap hides, cheap simple stuff. Once that part ends, we'll be better again. More. And not that it's terrible now. A lot of people are like, my sales are fine. And I'm like, I'm not saying that. I sell snakes too, but the price change still is extremely fast for some morph combos, and people don't believe me. And I'm like, just check. Just freaking check. There's some combos that have dropped 60% in 2024, you know?
Yeah,
Still.
I watched a video recently. I think it was when DPR went to visit Canova. It was like a recent video, and you pick up a lot of things like listening, especially to like people like give a lot of good tips, you know, and Justin was like kind of showing his facility, and he was saying, oh yeah, these are, you know, basically his adults, I think it was just the females, or maybe it was the males, but like the adults, they had like a limit of like 2 years. Like they kind of moved after 2 years, and then there were new ones.
Right. He
And
said,
so
like,
they've got
once
bred
they
for 2
grow
years.
up, I have to rotate out the same amount that I wanted to keep.
And that like a little light bulb went off when I saw that part, and I was like, oh my gosh, like shame on me, because I have an adult rack, and those are like my breeders. But like I said, I'm not producing the right amount of clutches for those adults, so I have too many adults.
I'm still here. I'm just
I knew
struggling.
you'd come back.
I could hear you the whole time. Yeah, I have the
Good.
exact same problem because I like snakes and I like my snakes and I want all of them. But I
Yeah.
think that's wrong, and I think people. Oh gosh! So there used to be like a mindset that like if any adult female you kept, if you kept keeping her, even if you put her on break time, she was still valuable because she was an adult, and you could find something more and more expensive incrementally to add to her that would make her babies worth it again. You had to like move males out, but maybe not females. Wrong. There are females that are not valuable enough, no matter what male you put them to. It would just be a waste of the male too. So, here we are.
Yeah. I'm working on that now. I have to move. It's tough. It's like self-discipline. I need to move a bunch of adults. So I have really nice holdbacks, and they need to go into my adult rack. And that's
it's
probably
a struggle right now.
Auction's probably a good place for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a show, you can sell adults for sure, but you used to be able to, like, any adult you took was fine. It was reasonably priced, but now, like, I don't know, because a lot of people at shows are buying babies. They don't want an adult. They're not baby breeders yet, but
we do good at selling adults at this show. Like, people hold them, and they're like,
it's like a pet person.
It's a pet.
Yeah,
it's a pet person.
I sold both of the adults I took to this last show to pet people. I'm like, good. Don't ever breed it. Be happy. That snake's nice. You can be happy together. Yeah,
so again, when I first got into this, and I thought it was like one of the most underrated pets, because I've had so many, like, an animal person. So like as a kid, my parents were nice and they let me have a lot of weird stuff, and I'm an adult now, so I have whatever things I want pretty much. I feel like it's an underrated pet, and it needs to be a more popular pet, and which is part of like why it says household serpents in my name, because I was hoping like it should be, there should be one of these snakes in every household. Was like my hope.
It always gave me like a witchy vibe. Like it was an apothecary that also sold snakes. Am I misplaced or no?
No, that's cool, but no.
Okay, sorry.
I like that though. So yeah, I think, and like where things are going in the world, like sadly, I think it's harder for people to have cats and dogs. Like, my kids have an apartment, they can't have a cat or a dog, or whatnot, or if people are busy, they're in college and stuff or whatnot. And like, I feel like there should be more people keeping like a snake, like a ball python, because it's like, again, it's a pet that's not going to cry and be distressed if you go to work, or oh, you ignored me, like they're not like that, and they still give you like the joy of when you hold them, they're like you get all those like nice feelings, and then you're still taking care of something. There's still a connection there. There's still like that joy of having a pet. And so like when I first got into it, I was really a lot more pet minded, believe it or not, and I wanted everyone to have one. And plus my kids grew up with the pet snake. So, like their friends would come over and hold the snake and learn about the snake. And like, the more people have a pet ball python or any snake, the better it is for everybody. So I don't mind selling pets. Like I get that's not like the best business model. But I like selling pets because I want them to be more popular. It's better for all of us, because people don't think snakes. Oh, a snake's so bad, evil, and they're beautiful, and you can appreciate them, and you can have a pet. Like some of the breeders, like Nicole, my friend Nicole, her family's like allergic to furry things.
Oh no.
So they have lots of snakes. Or
Yeah.
Inky Cloud, she's like has some weird allergy to mammals or something. So she has all these snakes, and there's people like, it's a great alternative pet. It's a low maintenance pet. It still gives you the good feelings of having a pet. And I wish that it was promoted more as a pet. And I think it's a mistake to, think that it's just for genetics. But genetics, I mean,
Yeah, I think
are
for
fun.
sure. I think the problem is like, people interact with their hobby in a way, and they learn about it, and what they like about it isn't necessarily what they need to convince someone else to like about the hobby. It's like, and sometimes it's because they never even had a pet to begin with. They always just bought breeders to be a breeder, baby breeder, and then they were a full-time breeder and whatever. And so like they never even contextualized it that way. And so I think the people who do the labor of convincing people to have a pet and enjoying it are doing the service of the whole hobby, basically. They all need to be paid, is what I'm saying. They need a stipend from large breeders to compensate them for their time and services, because
and
otherwise
I think,
there would be no hobby, really.
going back to the auction too, I think a lot of pet people are going on there because,
Well,
it could-
I've talked to some
things that
people
are beautiful are selling for
over
more money
market.
sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, are they high value customers though? Like, do they know what pets are or how to take care of it? Have you had any bad ones that are troubled?
No, not that I know of.
Okay,
No,
that's
they've
good.
always been pretty. I mean, there's so much, thankfully, there's so much on YouTube, and there's so much knowledge out there. It's very easy to figure out like how to take care of it. So
I wish that was true, but sometimes it's not true.
yeah,
Like,
I haven't had any bad experiences. I do have a customer who contacted me. She's local recently, and she wants me to help her rehome a couple of the snakes because she's going to school and she's living with her mom. She's an adult, but she's living with her mom. She's going to school. She has a child, and the electricity bill is so high.
Oh no.
And I even offered to like give her feeders for a while. I'm like, oh, if it's a cost of food, I'll give you some feeders for a while. Because I mean, I should probably talk with her again, because they're a good home. They're a very good home for these snakes. And I'm like, I don't know that you're going to get a better home. You guys are great, So, but
Right,
I guess
people
her
feel
mom's
guilty
complaining
about
about
not playing with their snakes enough or something, like their best homes. And I'm like, if you just play with it like every 2 weeks and feed it,
no,
give it
really,
water,
really.
you'll be fine. That snake is happy.
Yes, I think it hurts the animals, not just snakes, by the way, but again, I've always been a big animal lover. And I very much care about animals. I'm also a very science-minded person, and I think I have a very realistic view of animals. So I think it's hurtful when people make it so complicated to have a pet that people are like, oh my God, no, I can't do it now, because it's like this like overwhelming, I'm an evil person if I don't do XYZ. And like, when the reality is most pets would be perfectly happy being with you. And
I mean, like the UVB police is like the best example of this. Where like, if you didn't give your ball python UVB, you should basically just rehome it today, because it's gonna die.
yeah, some people are really mean and nasty. I mean,
and that was a qualified home that was interested in making a good cage, and they just needed time to work on it if that's something they wanted to do. But it's like it makes qualified good candidate pet keepers not even want to have anything,
yeah. And you can always change, like for a snake, you can always change a snake's setup at any time.
Right,
Like, I mean,
you can grow into whatever you
yeah.
admire as an enclosure later.
And
whatever.
it's, again, there are uh like pretty low maintenance, and they have teeny little brains, and they're not going to like have they're not like parrots where they're going to rip their feathers out because they're like left alone, you know. So I think people sometimes put too much pressure on themselves, and I think that's like happening a lot with like rescue dogs and stuff too, where people like are getting too carried away to the point that people don't adopt at all, even though they would have been a good home and stuff like that. I think this is, I don't know. There's a point where it gets to be too much.
Right. Where our like ethical grandstanding has resulted in nobody having any pets at all.
Yeah. And,
No
and the
pets, we're
reality is
canceled.
domestic animals, I mean, they have it made. There's I mean, there's a whole group. I mean, when I was a kid, I was like a child animal activist, you know, like, I did like my science fair project on vivisection and like contacted PETA and had all these videos. So like I've always like cared about animal rights and loved animals, but I also like always like tried to be at their level. Like they don't think like I think. They don't, their values aren't the same as my values. So you try to be at their level. And and I guess I think I just lost my train of thought. Just see if I
I think we need a new, I don't know, maybe more pet ball python influencers.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Even more.
I'm actually like, I don't know why Snake Discovery doesn't talk about them more. Like,
they think,
well, maybe they think they're boring. Well, I don't know. I thought maybe they thought they were boring, but then she got like a ball python to rehome, and then she kept it because it was such a great animal that she wanted to, you know, use it for education. But of course it's not their job to, you know,
right. It has to be somebody who
promote
wants to
all the animals you want them to.
for the species to advocate for. To me,
Yeah.
when I talk to people, I'm always like, it's like having a fish tank. You can make it as beautiful as you want, but unlike a fish tank, you get to play with the contents and it's fine. So like, why wouldn't you want a pet like that? Like, it doesn't care about you at all, but if you want to play with it, you can. Like, that's a good pet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I know it's a hot topic with the racks, but I mean, same with the racks. I mean, you can, or the tubs. I mean, you can do a lot of different things with them, and you can take the snake out and interact with it and expose it to things and then put it back. Like, I mean, it's not, I think some people, it's upsetting because the people that get so worked up about it are the best people that should be having pets because they care so much, right? They care so much. They want to do a good job. And then like they get overwhelmed with, you know, you're bad if you don't do this and this. Oh, didn't you know you should be I mean, there's like so many ways to keep a ball python.
Yeah, I do think like people are critics of the ball python hobby are correct. Like, the first thing a seller of ball python should assume is that the person is a pet keeper and couch all of their like advice and help and whatever in a pet keeper's mindset, which wouldn't be necessarily using a rack, even if that's fine. So I think that's a problem. And I think it's like intellectual laziness where you're like, you should keep like I keep because I keep is fine. And it is probably fine. But like, they don't even want to keep that way. So
no,
be prepared to inform them of what they would appeal.
There's a lot of ways to keep them. I mean, so my first one was in a giant tank. I mean, looking back now, I'm like, oh, that was probably, I guess it depends on who you ask, an inappropriate setup. But it was like a big 40-gallon tank. And he lived in the living room and he had a cave and like, you know, a couple things. And sometimes I'd decorate it. And then I got the rack and then I had another tank. And now we have some pet, you know, like a pet boa, a pet blood python and some king snakes and stuff. And there's like the tub set. There's so many ways to do it. And I mean, you should do what works for you. And if you don't have hundreds of dollars to buy some big fancy enclosure, I mean, even like an ARS rack, like those are thousands of dollars and they're really nice. Like if you don't have to start there, it's okay. I mean, and the same with, again, other pets that people want to have, like a dog, like, I had an apartment when I got my dog, like, and then eventually I bought a house, and now he has a big yard or whatever. So it doesn't
There's a
mean you
lot of places
shouldn't
that won't
have the
adopt
pets.
any dog to you if you don't have a yard. Even if you're like, I promise I'll walk it every day. They're like, get fucked.
Yeah, they've become, well, I'm up in New England where we don't have a huge overpopulation problem with dogs. Like all our dogs are like getting shipped up here from other states. I think that's changing. Again, I think with the way the world is now, housing is so expensive. It's limited. People can get what they can get. It's a lot more challenging for people to buy a house. And I think that makes it very hard for people to have a cat and a dog. And this is like a nice alternative. And again, if you have like allergies or something, they're a nice alternative. I thought if I couldn't have a cat or a dog, like I was like, I would just have a bunch of these guys because they're pretty cool, They scratch the itch of like, oh, the nice warm fuzzies and and then but you can put them away and you know what, they're not, you don't have to go home, right away to let them out to use the bathroom.
Yeah, it's definitely a good pet. They're all good pets. It's just like figuring out like the tension between like the breeder community and the pet community is probably always going to be there in some way, but figuring out how to extend as many olive branches both directions will be fire.
Hey, if you want to talk about this on another show, I have a lot to say about it. It does not have to be so this side and that side. Like I don't even like that way of thinking. I think,
oh my God, yeah, we're all in the same hobby. Come on.
Everything's like that now. It's like all good and all bad, but that's not how the world works. It's all gray and there's like some extremes. Mm-hmm. So I don't think
people struggle with nuance, don't you?
Yes, they do. I know. I live my like perfect little bubble reality.
My favorite question was asked to me this week on the show. This nice family was like, do any of these bites? I'm like, all of them bite. Every animal has the capacity to be afraid and defend itself. Why would you ask me? I didn't say it like that, but that's what I wanted to say. I was hot. I was like, I hate that question because it's like they want an automaton that does not have any cognitive input in its reality. And I'm like, even the nicest snake I own right now will bite me if something it makes it scares it. It's they don't.
Well, maybe I'm a little fluffy
because it makes me upset.
I'm a little fluffy. I'm like, oh yeah, oh no, they don't really bite.
Why would you say that?
Because the ball pythons usually don't. I mean, I've had a few.
You could make the nicest snake you have either like,
I guess
like a feeding one, or just get scared. Just get scared.
I guess so. I mean, yes, it can, but I also tell them, oh, it has like fish teeth. Like their teeth remind me of like fish teeth. I say that
too, but it's a lie. All of these animals have agency, and I'm mad about it.
They do have the potential. You're right. Just like all humans have the potential to do really bad things.
Yeah. So like all humans have the potential to have like an OnlyFans foot account. But do they all? No, most of them do not. All right. It's been fun talking. I gotta make dinner though. It's my womanly duty tonight. Yay!
What are you making?
I don't know. I got like chicken salad. I got like grill dinners. Have you ever made a grill dinner for a man?
Oh yeah, I like the grill. Delicious.
Like I got chicken salad sandwiches on naan, and then like steak salad with like strawberry, blackberry vinaigrette. And I looked at both of them, I was like, these are delicious to me. But I'm like, these are girl dinners.
Oh.
Fuck it.
I think any dinner that is made for someone is a good dinner, unless it's, really bad.
What about girl math? Does that count? Sorry. That's steak math and girl math, I think are the same thing, actually. Deep down inside, you're like, I sold 2, buy 3. It all worked out.
I've gotten better at that over time.
Lisa is a biter. See, she also has agency, and at any time she could defend herself by biting you. All right, let's say goodbye. so everybody was here. There was a lot of people. I don't know if we learned anything. Hopefully, we learned something about something. I don't know. Being a snake breeder in a rural area is harder than I think people think. So like, oh yeah, I'll just pop by my hub. My hub closes at 9 p.m. I'm like, get fucked.
Yeah, if I
Fuck
had
out
to
at
work
4 p.m.
like a 9 to 5, I guess I couldn't ship anything.
Yeah. Right? It's complicated. So I know people who live somewhere rural who bring the snake with them to work, take their lunch break to drive this.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, I guess.
So your business plan, whatever it ends up being, if you're like a new baby breeder, is was it me again? Man,
that was you again. I
worst
I
internet
might get
on
like
the internet.
I think about changing my schedule a lot too. You still there?
I don't know. It's like the spring.
Are we in sync?
No, we weren't, but we are now.
Okay. Yeah, I think about changing my schedule sometimes, and like, because I might actually get like promoted, and then like if they need me to be there Monday through Friday or something, which I wouldn't like actually. I don't know if I would do it. I'd be in kind of trouble, and maybe I'd have to do something else. But yeah, I could take mine to work. I work at a hospital, so I can't take it to work. I probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's just weird. And I think people don't think about it because they're like, yeah, where I live, there's 3 metro areas with a total of 5 million people within a 2-hour drive of my house. So like, I sell all my stuff on Facebook groups still, and I'm like, great, but I don't live there. Yeah, so like everybody's business is sort of region locked with certain sort of properties of how it works.
Turns out.
Yeah, so we're all just doing the best, and you too can do okay if you're mostly online, I think is the moral of the story. You just have to hustle and grind on the old internet. And Purple Church is into naan with chicken salad on it, with tarragon and apples and grapes and pecans. It's girl dinner. Girl dinner. Sorry. Thank you for coming on. I don't know why the internet does not work, but fuck it.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it.
Wait. What show are you going to? What day? Tell everybody.
Oh, the New England Reptile Expo. It's this coming Sunday, the 30th in Manchester.
So if you're around, check it out. I'll be at Dallas NARBC doing cowboy stuff, I guess. I don't know.
I'm going to go to an NARBC, so I'll have to meet some people and have a good time.
That's, I think, the number one reason why it's fun. Is hobnobbing. Yeah, I think it is too. I think it's canceled. No Starlink. I'm over it.